Ohio State's a 7.5-point favorite against Tennessee. Is that line just crazy, Connor?
It certainly seems high. It seems on the higher side, just first glance.
You look at it and you go, wait. 7.5? Ohio. I just saw this Ohio State team lose by 3 against Michigan. They were a 20-point favorite against.
Should we go into that?
Have we talked about that yet? Have we recapped that game?
I'm not sure.
I don't like. You look at the line, you go, Dylan, why is this line 7.5?
It has to be because of skill. Like, they still see something in Judkins. They still see something. How much
roster costs?
Yeah, it has to be. Like, that's the only thing I could think of is like, and their defense is great, right? I'm not going to sit here and say that. Now, is it impressive that they held the Michigan team that we have this year to 13 points? Like, no, our offense isn't that great. But 7.5 was astonishing. Now, here's what I'll say. I will be rooting for Tennessee, obviously. Tennessee is one of the least explosive teams in college football. They're in the 16th percentile in rush explosiveness, 43rd in pass explosiveness. And Ohio State's a bit more explosive, but still not anything crazy. These are two great defenses. I think Ryan Day's going to be coaching
for his life.
Ohio State has more to lose, right? At least in my opinion. If they lose, at least I think Ryan Day has to answer some serious questions if he's not fired. And Heupel and Nico, like, it's also tough to back Tennessee because this is redshirt freshman that is like has never been in this position before, and we've seen Nico on the biggest stages not look great. So you have the loss on the road to Arkansas. It's not great. They have to go on the road here. I would go under. We'll reveal the brackets later, but I would go under here. I think it's going to be a slugfest. It's going to be cold. Columbus. We need Tennessee to wear the All Blacks. We need the All Blacks from Tennessee, but I think Ohio State's going to do it. Ryan Day's coaching scared. I think under here is a good play.
Two things. One, Dylan, as an all-time Ohio State hater, what would you rather have? Them lose in the first round to Tennessee or lose in heartbreaking fashion in the national title game?
Can I be honest here? No cameras.
No cameras.
We'll turn it off, yeah.
I want Ohio State to win a national championship. I want them to win.
Clip.
I want Ryan Day extended for 15 years, and I will claim a national championship if Ohio State wins for Michigan.
So back-to-back if Ohio State wins this year.
I think that's the number one scenario. It will be back-to-back Michigan national championships if Ohio State wins it all. And if they lose in the first round of Tennessee, then I get the double kill. I get Michigan and Tennessee wins over Ohio State. How often does that happen? So I think worst-case scenario would be a loss to Oregon, loss in the semis probably for Ohio State for me.
Okay. All right. And then the other thing
I love that answer, by the way. That was great.
Thank you.
How nervous are you about this Tennessee offensive line in this game?
Is that to me?
Yeah.
Terrified. As much as Jack Sawyer's a little baby, they're not planting the flag on our field again, bro. As much as he is a little baby after the game, I think he's a great edge. And you don't need a lot to get pressure on Nico. That we've seen this offensive line is awful. Now, are they going to be able to stop the run? Ohio State's defense, that is. They weren't able to stop it against Michigan. You saw the Khalil Mullings bouncing off the offensive line. Just embarrassing stuff. I want to see Tennessee plant a flag if they win. I need to get on the phone with Heupel. I want to see
I can drive down to the office right now. I'll be like, sir, do you know Dylan Wilkerson from the Karter cast? He'd like to have a word with you.
I can't plant the flag again on our field, bro.
Okay, but you know what? Real quick,
the guy that picked Josh Oliver.
Real quick, Dylan. If he didn't rip that flag down and he just let it happen and walked by it, then you would have been on here saying he's weak-minded for not doing something about it. What a little baby.
But the difference is, I would expect
there's no winning.
No, absolutely not. There's no winning. But I would expect nothing less. Like it's
Jack Sawyer has no backbone. He let him plant the flag. What a loser.
We don't have
that would be the narrative.
We don't have. Well, Ryan Day did. Ryan Day just stood there and watched. But we don't have to make this Ohio State minute. I just, I'm glad we saw. I feel bad. Like those seniors never had the opportunity No, I mean 0-4. Quinn Ewers, like I said.
Okay.
Only person from that class to beat Michigan.
My turn.
Yeah, go ahead, Connor.
It's sad. I feel bad for him.
While we're pooping on Ohio State, I do have a couple concerns. Will Howard just had his worst game of the year, and that was the last game they played. So he's coming off his worst performance, which isn't great. Jeremiah Smith had 2 targets after halftime. That's inexcusable. When you're throwing all over Michigan to not give your best player a look, that's inexcusable. That's what I'm worried about.
Or is that Michigan's elite defense?
You know what? Fair. Lockdown corners. It's true. Give him some credit
Johnson
there.
was out.
But, however, I think Tennessee's wide receivers, all year I've been saying this about them, and it hurts to say this, they're average. Tennessee's wide receivers are so average. There are no big play threats. Dylan, bouncing off that point you brought up, I saw a stat that came across my desk. Tennessee averages less than 12 yards per successful play. That's good for 115th in college football. They're not explosive. They've been winning with methodical drives down the field. And against Ohio State's defense, I don't think you can do that because all the time when Tennessee's struggling, when Nico's struggling, when they can't get it going, they turn to Dylan Sampson in the backfield. He's been dynamite all year. Yes, Michigan just ran over Ohio State. I think that was a fluke. I think that was an anomaly. This Ohio State defense, for the whole season, we've got a whole season of data, they've given up less than 3 yards a carry. So if you're allowing less than 100 rush yards a game, and if Tennessee has to go to Dylan Sampson, I don't trust him to be able to get it done against this Ohio State front seven. And for that reason, I think Ohio State wins. I think 7.5 points is too many, but I do think Ohio State pulls this out.
Under, though, right?
I do love the under. Both defenses top 6 in opponent yards per game. Both defenses top 4 in opponent yards per play. Points are going to be at a premium, but Ohio State's skill position players are going to be the difference in this one, especially at wide receiver.
Real quick, just calling my shot here. If you've watched any Ohio State tape, if you're Heupel, if you're anybody in the past game, you're throwing at Denzel Burke 7 times a game. Like, he was awful against Oregon.
Who do you trust to do that if you're Tennessee? Who are you giving the ball to? Squirrel White?
Can I be honest? I don't even think it matters. Michigan targeted him once, and it was a defensive pass interference on the goal line. So I don't even, Michigan's wide receiver core. I don't think it matters who it is. You target Denzel Burke, and you let it go. Ohio State might have success. It's a T instead of an M. I don't know.
I will say,
go
real
ahead.
quick, last point. Because I think points are going to be such a premium in this game, it's going to be low scored and grinded out. If Will Howard does have a pick 6 or a red zone turnover or something like that, that could change the whole game. That could be the difference in the entire game because one pick 6, who knows how many points are going to be scored in this game. That's the path for Tennessee. If Will Howard can avoid that multi-turnover game, then that's
if you like the under and points at a premium, I think you almost have to take Tennessee in this spot with the spread.
7.5 is too many points. I want to go on record saying that. I do think Ohio State wins a close one though.
My dumb football brain, this is either not going to hit home at all or it'll resonate very well. Watching Nico play, he throws one of the prettiest deep balls in the country, and it's just a yard. It's like 2 feet, 2 feet overthrown every single time, and it feels like that's going to change at some point. That's going to at some point. That deep ball gets completed. I don't know if it happens in this game or if it happens next season. But if that happens, Tennessee wins this game. Even just one of those changes that game.
Karter, it's already started. If you, I don't know what sickos were watching Tennessee Vanderbilt, but I watched that game, and he was starting to. He wasn't overthrowing it as bad as he was. I don't know if he's figured it out or if it was an anomaly, but that process has started a little bit.
Yeah, because every Nico game you watch, you go, gosh, the eye test, he looks good. And then the ball's just a little overthrown each time. Dylan Sampson on the ground is going to be the key in this game. I think both points for each side. I think it's going to come down to, will Dylan Sampson have success on the ground for Tennessee? Can they get that 1 to 2, 3 deep balls? And on the Ohio State side, can Ryan Day get out of his own way? That's going to be the key for them in this game. If Ryan Day can get out of his own way and let Chip Kelly do what he needs to do and have this offense put themselves in the best positions possible to succeed, that's going to win them this game. You watch Ryan Day as a coach. We talked about it on the Ohio State preview. That'll be out next week. But I just cannot believe they still lost to Michigan. I really cannot believe it. And it is 100% on Ryan Day because Ryan Day stepped in and said, we're playing a certain way to beat Michigan because he was too stubborn in that spot.
Just throw the ball.
Just throw the damn ball. It's that easy. I know they say run the damn ball. No, you throw the damn ball in that game. So,
quarterback
and also,
can't throw.
is Will Howard, like, is he okay?
Well, very interesting, Connor. I don't want to foreshadow, but the gentleman, Jordan, coach that we had on from Ohio Sports Talk, said he doesn't think that Will Howard was 100% coming back in. It was like he said he was a Marine, I think, or something like that. And he's like, it just seemed like it was a Marine doctor saying, "Oh, you're fine, you're good."
Well, it was quick. It was immediate. It was like, all right, Will Howard, get back in there,
There's
shake it
one
off,
Devin
rub some
Brown
dirt
snap.
on it.
Yeah, one Devin Brown snap. There's something I was going to say. Oh my gosh, I forget. Never mind.
Under is one of my favorite plays of the first round.
Yeah,
under. I like the under too. I think it's going to be some gross football. I like
it's going to be a Dylan wet dream.
Yes, Ohio State. Let's just think about the fact that Ohio State could have Cam Ward and his 45,000 passing yards.
I think that's
literally on the Heisman graphic.
Genuinely, that's going to be one of the biggest, if not the biggest, what if in Ohio State history.